I turned 33 in 8 days, and I'm having like a slight meltdown over it. I don't usually feel this way about my birthday. I don't even feel like I felt like this when I was 30. But when I was 30, I was married and I thought I had like a whole life of partnership ahead of me, maybe. And I've spent the past 2 years single, and sure, I've had some situationships, but nothing of substance. And I don't know, I just feel a sense of like doom and gloom about turning another year older and being in this space where I'm fucking swiping left and right every other day. No one cares to make a connection. No one cares to go past like texting. It's like everyone just fucking wants a texting fucking buddy. Or they match you knowing that your intentions are to find a life partner, and then they're just not ready for a commitment. Dating is exhausting and I just don't want to do it anymore. I almost feel like it leaves you feeling even lonelier.
You're the one who left your relationship thinking the grass was greener on the other side, but it completely backfired on you. Now you're just the one-night fling, and you can't get anyone to stick around. That's why you should have taken better care of your husband, because now you've hit the wall, just like the women we're about to see in this video, who are frustrated with dating. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Let's get started.
Dating in your 30s is exhausting. I just got back from another singles event. I was really excited for this one, but I was let down yet again. I love spin and I love going to spin classes. I said, okay, I'm gonna set aside 45 minutes in the day. It's gonna be about me. And then I'll go back home and then I'll continue my work for the weekend. There was 2 men in the class and neither of them were my type. It's frustrating because I keep going to these events and I actually am very optimistic about it, but I'm constantly let down. Last weekend, I went to an event at Othership. Again, had high hopes, but there was nobody that I was actually interested in. I love going to Othership, so I'm happy I went because it was just like another Othership social. And today was just like another spin class. But people keep saying, oh, go to the places that you enjoy being at and you'll meet someone there. I'm on like all of the dating apps. I don't swipe very often. It's exhausting. I have a date maybe once, maybe every couple months, and it doesn't go anywhere. And I'm tired. But I think that everybody deserves to find their person. And for the past 4.5 years that I've been single, I've just been grinding it out. I've been working hard, but I leave little moments where I can try to put myself out there. And I just keep getting disappointed. Maybe all the good ones are just picked over. But I've got a good heart and I'm optimistic still. I think that everybody deserves love. And I don't want to get emotional, but it is very sad. I'm in this big city with so many people here. You'd think it would be easy to find a connection, but it's just not. And I'm 32 years old, and I know there's got to be somebody out there who feels the same way. So let me know. What are you guys doing? How are you meeting people? I would love to find my life partner. That's it.
The problem isn't men. The problem is your standards. Because she is meeting men, but probably with that so-called 666 checklist. 6 feet tall, 6 figures in income, and a six-pack. The 666 of the beast. She's out there looking for a winner, the complete package. She's frustrated because time is running out. Remember, a woman has a biological clock. She has to move quickly because time doesn't stop. There's nothing wrong with going out and meeting people through activities you enjoy. The issue is that no one can compete with the man you've built up in your imagination. So lower your standards, because you've hit the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive.
Dating in your 30s, it's starting to feel hopeless for me. So I went on a nice dinner date with a guy, and we're having pretty good conversation. Of course, he's asking the getting to know you question. So he asks me if I have any kids, and of course I say no, I don't have any kids. I ask him, oh, what about you? And then he says he has 3. I'm like, oh, that's cute. I mean, every guy's by now, I'm like, okay, everyone has kids, so it's expected. Then he says, we listen, we don't judge. And I just look at him, I'm just like, listen, we don't judge? What? He goes and he says he has 3 baby moms. Now, to me, 3 baby moms, that's a red flag. That's an automatic red flag. Because you had 1, 2, and if you're going for a third one, that's like, I think that's stretching it. And then he adds on to the conversation, I don't mind having a 4th one.
Damn! think the most frustrating thing about dating right now is not feeling like I'm getting rejected. I fully do believe in the taxi cab theory. It doesn't matter how amazing this girl is, if a man is not ready to settle down, like it's not gonna work out. But as soon as he's ready, that first girl that's there, that's who he's gonna be with. But what's frustrating to me is the fact that that's the one that you get a connection with. That's the one that you feel connected to, is the one that he's not ready. So honestly, nothing to do with me. That's fine. It's just that's the one that I had the connection with. And the one that I have zero connection with is fully in and wanting a relationship. And it's just like, why? Why is it the one that isn't ready, the one that you feel the most comfortable with, the one that like you have great conversation with and it's just easy and it flows and you have fun? Why is that the one? Does it say something about me and my emotional availability? Probably.
To the first woman, I'd say, run. That's a Chad out there creating single mothers. Let's be honest, he's a walking red flag. What the second woman doesn't understand is that some women give you a sense of home. As a man, you look at her and you just know she's a green flag, the kind of woman you don't want to lose. I'll tell you how I can tell. She's a woman who shows love through acts of service, who isn't into partying with her friends all the time, who cooks for you or makes you feel special when you're together. She calls you and genuinely wants to see you, wants your company. She's easy to spend time with and is comfortable letting you take the lead. Other signs I pay attention to are her family dynamics, whether she has a good relationship with her father and mother, whether her sisters and aunts are married, who her best friend is. All of that gives you an idea of what you're stepping into. There are good women out there, but if their environment is toxic, sooner or later that seeps into the relationship.
For some reason, my For You page has been filled with women in their early 30s who are really just tired of dating and talking about how they don't know if they're ever going to find their person and they're just feeling unloved and unlovable. It's like Charlotte York, I've been dating since I'm 16. Where is he? And I just wanted to say, as someone who is 36, who's totally off the timeline trajectory that I thought I was going to be on. Last year I thought I was going to be a mom, and instead I'm going through a divorce. And it really took me going through this to become more comfortable than ever in the place that I'm at in my life, which is, again, not at all where I thought I would be. Don't get me wrong, it's been the hardest year of my life. I wouldn't wish divorce on anyone. It sucks. 0 out of 10, don't do it. But the delay in what I thought my life would look like has brought me so much inner peace in a way. It really made me realize that I spent so much of my life white knuckling it and trying to force things to happen, trying to control situations. And I am at peace now because I just know that I'm not in control of any of it. I am open to anything. I am attached to nothing. I am confident in the knowledge that I will get to be a mom someday and that I will meet the person that I'm supposed to be with. But I'm not really looking. I'm not forcing it. I'm just kind of going with the flow. And I understand that that's so much easier said than done. I mean, nothing about this experience has been easy. But if I can impart anything on you, women in your early 30s, women in your mid 30s, without having to go through what I've gone through, it's just relax, and trust that you are lovable, that you are worthy, and that your path might not look the same as all of the people around you, but it doesn't make you any less special and beautiful and worthy of love. And something that I take solace in is, I look at how quickly my life changed. This time last year, I was in a totally different situation. And it changed like that. Now I'm in a new apartment. I'm in a new phase of life. I'm starting a new business. Like, my life has done a complete 180 since last year. And I really take a lot of comfort in the fact that if my life could change so fast for what felt like the worst, that means it can change just as quickly for the better. One of the benefits of being older and dating and finding love when you are older is how quickly that process can happen. Older, wiser, we want the same things. You want to start a family, boom, boom, boom. It just happens. I've seen it. Anyways, it was a lesson that I really had to learn the hard way. And so if I can help anyone from not having to learn it the hard way, that's always my goal. And yeah, like it's going to happen. It's going to happen when it's supposed to. Life is all going to work out exactly how it's supposed to. And worrying about it doesn't make it any easier. So take care of yourself, do things that make you happy, and the right person will come along. I guarantee it. If you want more life advice from someone who has gotten older and wiser from starting over in my mid-30s, be sure to follow.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Here we have a woman who's about to miss her window. She looks like the type who jumped ship at the first sign of trouble. I honestly don't understand it. She's taking advice from a woman who failed at her own marriage, a woman who isn't even a mother and wasn't married for long. That "I can replace you" mindset is exactly what leads many women to end up single at 40. You met a man in your 30s who was willing to marry you and build a family. You could have had your children and worked on your marriage. You found the man of your life, but you left him to go looking for another one at 36, when having a child is already becoming more difficult. You're 4 years away from 40, older and now divorced. If you think that's an impressive resume for a man, let me tell you, it's not. But responsibility seems to be kryptonite for women.
Women.
Welcome to my TED Talk of how terrible it is to date, especially in your 30s as a single mom with 2 beautiful little girls. What is going on? Like, you meet someone, you think they're wonderful, like you picture a future with them, they're practically living with you, they meet your kids, which is a big deal as a single parent. You end up breaking up the week of Christmas for a good reason. I mean, yeah, there's a good reason. Moving away. Like moving back home to a family. Like, I get it. But then not even 2 weeks later, like talking to someone else, posting about them, talking about how they love each other. Like, it just makes you not want to do it anymore. Like, it's a sucker punch. And I was with someone for 10 years, had 2 kids, was married, and I met that person when I was 19. And now dating post that, like, I wish someone would have warned me how bad it is. And just how much it can make you feel worthless. But in reality, you know what you want, you know what your worth is, and you can't settle for anything less than that. And I don't know, just solidarity for those single moms or single dads that are out there trying to find someone, because what the hell is this? Like,
Hell to the no. Hell no.
Ma'am, you have 2 young children. Not every man wants to step into that situation. Realistically, your dating market should be single fathers, or perhaps an older man who doesn't mind that you already have kids. Because a guy in his 30s with no children usually isn't thrilled about becoming a stepfather, especially to 2 kids from another man. I don't mean to sound harsh, but that's the reality.
I know I cannot be the only female struggling to date in 2023. Like, all of the 2000s, I feel like. But in general, like right now, I feel like it is the worst. Like, I have no desire to want to talk to you guys or deal with you guys on any level because you're all very disappointing. I don't know if you weren't loved properly or weren't loved enough, whatever the case may be, but when it comes down to it, you're just downright disrespectful. And You don't know how to treat women. You choose yourselves over everything in every circumstance. Even when you see that we've gone out of our way for you and done certain things for you, you continue to choose you, which is good, and you should choose you to a degree. But if you're not giving as much as you're taking, then it's a fucking problem. It's a problem. And we don't need you any longer to make babies. We don't need you to provide anymore, which even though you should, but we don't need you to do that because we are very capable of doing that on our own. And you can see that statistically because we do, and we have been for many years. And it's just saddening to see that we're struggling out here. We're struggling. And quite honestly, we don't need you for anything. We can take care of ourselves in every aspect. And then when I say every, I mean every. There are things in place for everything. So, unfortunately for you guys, like, you need to be loving, you need to be caring, you need to be more genuine than you've ever been before, because we don't actually need you for not one thing. Not one thing. So it's important that you're giving us that physical connection that we need, because if you're not doing that, we can find other ways to get everything else accomplished. So, God help us. I don't know what's going to happen, but this has been one hell of a year. One hell of a year. And I am over it. And I'm really ready just to have a full-on grown women circle where we can just enjoy our company of each other, travel, go away, do things, and just do what we need to do. Because y'all ain't it.
You should know there are two types of women in their 30s. The first feels the urgency, gets out there, starts looking, and actively puts in the work to find a man. Then there's the second type, this woman. She goes into denial and starts channeling her frustration toward men because she can't keep one. Just notice how she begins to embrace the mindset that she'll stay single, that she'd rather go out with her friends. That attitude screams singleness on every level. Brothers, the wall doesn't forgive. It just keeps claiming more victims.
So here's the thing about dating after 60 that nobody tells you. It's hard. And you're probably going to get your heart broken a few times. But that's okay. We're in it for the long run. We're hoping to find that true love, that last true love. And if we can just stay patient and hang in there, hopefully it's coming. But ladies, don't ever, ever settle for breadcrumbs. We deserve the whole loaf. Keep going and just know I'm here to support you.
Is dating in your 50s really that fucking bad? I just got off the phone with my friend and she's like, I'm done. I stopped dating 3 years ago. You didn't get the memo? Like, no. I'm done. I'm better off alone. I have my job. I'm financially secure. I have my house. My only child is an adult, and I'm healthy. I don't need problems in my life. And she's like, everyone's story is different, but dating out here for women my age, you find men that are older by 10, 12, 13 years. They're in their late 60s, maybe early 70s, and they're looking for a nurse. They're ready to settle down at that age. And if you find a man that's 55, semi-good looking, has a good job, is financially secure, he doesn't want your ass. He wants a young one, 22, 23. And I'm like, no, not that young. She's like, Jasmine, Bill Belichick is 74. His girlfriend's 24. That's how it is. It's slim pickings. Or you got guys out here who, they're trying to move in with you because you got a house. I'm better off alone. I got my friends. I got my activities. I'm not cleaning anyone's ass. No. So it made me think, because this is not the first time I have a conversation like this. This is like my third conversation Third conversation with 3 different friends are on the same age. One is 50, one is 55, and one is 56. And they're all like, no, I'm better off alone.
And what were they expecting? A 55-year-old millionaire to whisk a 50-year-old woman away on luxury trips? Ma'am, at that age you're closer to the grave than to a wedding ring. At the end of the day, a 55 or 60-year-old man who's financially stable and takes care of himself can attract a woman in her 40s or even younger who wants to be with him. That's the reality of the dating market. A 50-year-old woman isn't in a position to make demands like she's 25. At that stage, many are thinking about retirement, stability, and not becoming a burden on their children. And no, not every woman reaches 50 in bad shape. There are plenty who are stable and well-established. But it's not realistic to think the dating market works the same way it did 25 years ago.
Oh my goodness. The reply to dating in your 50s and 60s was really interesting. I had so many people say that they were tired of the apps or they were using the apps. And I'm curious what apps people our age are using. When I came back on the dating scene, like, I'm a fan of eHarmony. I think because you have to make the investment. I think people are more serious on there about dating. It's not just a free app. And I was thinking about it today. It's really interesting that every person that I've gone on a date with from there has been a business owner, and I'm a business owner. And it's just kind of funny to me that, that you answer all those questions and they do they do match like with like. So, yeah, like when I've been single, I've gone on it, and I'm the second you meet someone or whatever, like, we don't even have to finish the drink. I know it's either a thing or it's not going to be a thing. And I'm not a sport dater. So I'm single or I'm in a relationship. There's no gray area. But my daughter put me on Hinge. I think that's what it was. I didn't like it at all. She and I would sit there and drink wine and swipe or whatever. And I was like, I don't like this at all. But I do love eHarmony, and I have turned on several people to it that have been successful on it. And I think it's because, like I said, I think it's like-minded people. You're not just looking for a hookup. You're really looking for something more. But anyway, what apps did you use, and have you tried eHarmony? Let me know.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Ma'am, the problem is that you're always looking for the top-tier guy. When you listen to these women, you never hear them say, I want a hard-working man, loving, kind, someone who treats me with respect, who's family-oriented. None of that. It's always about money. Notice how she said she wants a business owner. Why is it always about financial status? And then you get upset when a financially stable man decides to go after a younger woman.
Here are 3 more tips for dating when you're older. Number 1, don't talk about your ailments. Don't talk about your flatulence. I mean, just maybe avoid the chickpeas and the lentils and the pulses, because I don't care how much you think they're not going to affect you, they do. And sometimes it's really hard to hold in that fart. But, I think on a date, just avoid those foods. But don't talk about other things. Don't talk about, your pains and your aches and all the other things that you might want to talk about with a girlfriend. Number 2, when you're going on a first date, go to somewhere that's really fun, where a lot of younger people go. You don't have to go to the bowls club or to a bingo hall to have a good time. You want to go somewhere a bit trendy. It doesn't have to have white tablecloths. You want to go somewhere where everyone is having a bit of a buzz and fun. And that way, you'll be buzzy and funny. And that's very important, because you'll feel the vibe and soak it up. Number 3, maybe change your mindset as to what you think a relationship should be like at your age. Because quite frankly, does it have to be conventional? I think when I first started dating, I was looking to maybe marry again, have a full-time relationship. But I don't think I want that anymore. I would like to be free, but also have a part-time relationship, someone I can see, go out with, and have fun, and always have that excitement of not seeing them every day of the week. Do I want to be washing socks every night of the week? No way. No way. Follow me for more tips.
Oh, hell no!
A 60-year-old woman wanting to live out a teenage-style romance, just when you think you've seen it all. The truth is, men have an evolutionary advantage. If you take care of yourself and you have wealth and assets, you can easily date a woman 10 years younger than you. Right now, there's a huge market of single women in their mid-30s to early 40s who would be happy to date a man between 45 and 60, as long as he's in good shape and financially stable. And at that age, you don't have to take the risk of getting married. You can protect your money and your assets and enjoy your later years with peace of mind. You can even move abroad, where your money goes further, and live a more relaxed life with a younger woman.
Women.
So all you men in your 40s, 50s, 60s, none of you want to date a 50-year-old hormonal menopausal woman. And you've got the option that you can have a 30-year-old as opposed to a 53-year-old like me. Men have the option to go for a younger woman. You know, if you're a 50-year-old man and a 32-year-old woman pays you attention, wow, big ego boost. And who wouldn't? Fair play to you. But for me, as a 53-year-old woman, if a 32-year-old man paid me attention, you know, it'd be frowned upon, wouldn't it? Imagine me going out with a 32-year-old man, old enough to be his mum. There was a survey done, I don't know, however many men they asked, and 80% of them, in their 50s, said that they prefer younger women. In their 30s, their early 40s. What chance do I stand? So we've got a very small window of the opposite sex. Whereas you men have a big, I'm not talking about that, a big window. You can go for any age, really. Not that young though. But there are a lot of younger men who say, oh yeah, they like an older woman because they know what they want. But do they actually want to spend the rest of their life with this older woman? No. They want the fun in the bedroom, don't they? Well, that's the way I see it. So that's my opinion on why I think men have a bigger dating pool than a woman does of the same age. I might be wrong, but just my opinion.
Ma'am, you've hit the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive. You can't expect a man in his 50s, who has probably already been through a divorce, to spend his later years looking for another woman his own age to start over from scratch. When that man turns 60, we all know that, on average, men don't live as long as women. The last 10 or 15 years he has left aren't years he'll want to spend with someone who could become a medical and financial burden. Let's be realistic. A man who has the means to travel, go out, and be with a woman in her 40s is going to do it. He wants to enjoy the time he has left with energy, peace of mind, and less risk.
I saw this video on dating after 60, and somebody was talking about the fact that only 6% of men want someone who is 5 or more years younger, only 8% of men only want sex, and the takeaway from the whole thing was that everybody wants the same thing. Trust, companionship, a best friend, someone to go through life with. But for me, and I'm not an expert, I've been through 2 marriages, a number of short and long-term failed relationships. My only claim to expertise here is just having been alive for a while. To me, the question that needs to be asked is, what are you bringing into it? What, I don't want to say baggage, what history? And what history are you willing to deal with in another human being? I married somebody who had 2 kids, and I had none. And it was hard being a stepmom, especially not being, having had any parenthood experience and having had a rather fraught relationship with my own dad. It was very weird to watch the father-child dynamics that were going on there. The really loving ones were painful for me because I didn't have that, and the real, I don't want to say toxic, but the the less healthy ones were difficult too, because I wanted to step in and say, hey, you know, you might want to try something a little bit different here, but I really tried hard not to. And now I'm dating somebody who's a widower, and I'm a widow too. And that's not easy either. I started dating my guy 6 months after his wife passed, and it's not easy to walk into a house that someone that you care about shared with somebody else and to see all the mementos of a life that was lived prior to me and really wondering, well, you know, you don't want to compare yourself, but you do. So I guess what I'm saying is the real question when dating after 60 isn't what you want, because we all want some of those same things. But what level of difficulty, what challenges are you willing to deal with based on the baggage that you're bringing into it, the history you're bringing into it, and the history they're bringing into it? That to me is the crux of where it all lies, because it's all going to require some level of effort. We didn't get it out of our childhood trauma free. Who here had a fairy tale childhood, particularly people in our generation? So you tack 40 more years onto that of lived experience, and really, it's what you're willing to deal with and what they're willing to deal with in the history. It's easy to say what we do want. It's harder to say what we won't deal with.
This woman is self-aware. Notice she didn't go after some high-status guy. She chose an average man. He doesn't have kids. She stepped into the role of stepmother, and she married a widower. I like her perspective because she's realistic. I personally know a guy who already owns several properties here, made good money, and retired at 50. And what did he do? He moved to China. There he met a 38-year-old woman. Traditional, no kids. They've been together about 3 years now, living their best life. And if you've never been to China, I highly recommend it. It's incredible. My friend lives there, goes out with his wife, and enjoys a whole new adventure. He only comes back here for business, handles what he needs to handle, and then returns. He's living the best chapter of his life. If you're in a good place in your life and you have the ability to travel, you'll realize there are plenty of women within reach who may even treat you better than a Western woman.
Keep in mind, from age 45 to 60, single women outnumber single men 25 to 1. The pickings are plentiful for men. I'm just going to go ahead and speak on behalf of all the women who have done the work, the therapy, have learned to love themselves and value themselves. We don't give a shit. We don't give a fucking flying shit. We would rather be alone in our peace with our girlfriends, living our best life, than lower our standards to have a man in our life who is an abusive asshole.
Ma'am, men aren't out here looking for older women, especially Western older women who seem more focused on the next divorce than on building something lasting. That's why the passport bro movement has been gaining so much traction lately. For many men, it's simply easier to find a traditional woman, someone who takes care of the home and stands by you, outside this country. You can live abroad, come back to the United States only for business or work, and spend the rest of the year overseas. Believe me, a lot of men are already doing it. I already told you about my friend. He's happily living with his wife in China. If you want to live your life differently, there's Latin America, the Pacific region, even countries like Kazakhstan, with different cultures and attractive women. American men are traveling and building relationships there. What I'm saying, brothers, is that there's life beyond this country. If you're already in your retirement years, your final chapter doesn't have to be a bad one.
Currently going through a divorce. Been almost a year since he cheated and left, so we've been separated for almost a year. And I am moving out of our home. I'm currently getting it ready so he can move in here with his girlfriend, but that's not what I'm sad about. What I'm sad about, and I didn't realize how triggering it would be, is going through our son's baby clothes. We have 3 kids. We have 2 sons. We have 2 sons and a daughter, but these are our son's baby clothes. Our daughter never got to see us together. She was only 2 months old, so she never got to see her parents together, so that's good, but I'm going through my son's clothes, and it's extremely triggering. I didn't realize how triggering it was gonna be. I don't miss my relationship. I don't miss their dad. I don't ever wanna it's not about that, it's just, like, you can't help but feel like a failure. Like, I'm going through their clothes, and I'm, like, it's bringing me back to the memories of them in their clothes, and, like, I just, like, look at their little pajamas, and I think about, like, putting them to bed and, like, thinking about the future and not imagining that, I would have to spend only 50% of their lives with them. But yeah, it's really fucking triggering, and it's really sad. So, if you're going through a divorce and you're a single mom or a single dad, I'm really sorry. My heart hurts for you because this shit is not easy. It's really fucking sad.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
First, let's make one thing clear. Infidelity is not justified. Period. But it's also true that a relationship doesn't fall apart overnight without context behind it. She herself admits she doesn't miss the relationship or the father of her children. That alone tells you the problem didn't start with the affair. The breakup had been building long before that. Let me be clear. I do not support infidelity under any circumstances. It's wrong. Now, I don't know how this woman lives, but as a man, the idea of putting my 3 children out on the street is something that personally would keep me up at night. In cases like this, I would transfer the house into my children's names. It wouldn't belong to either of us. I wouldn't leave it to her, but I would make sure my kids have a roof over their heads. That's my view, because my conscience wouldn't let me rest if I turned them out onto the street.
So much pain. It just doesn't stop. My heart to stop hurting. Stop so bad. Sometimes after I drop my kids off with their dad for his night, I literally sit in the garage. I sit in the garage in the silence until I can get motivation to go back inside. Sucks.
Ma'am, when you're married, men expect one thing from you, that you take care of the home. They make sure you're provided for financially. The problem today is that people are overly emotional. Everything revolves around feelings instead of managing those emotions. You give her a comfortable life in every way, and she still looks for something to complain about. And like I said, divorce is trendy now. In the past, people worked through their crises. Nowadays it's over. I'm moving on. But the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Sooner or later, this woman is going to realize that.
Women.
Hi. The sunset is literally so gorgeous right now, and it's making me pink. Besides the point, I'm on here and be fully transparent about where my video went. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I posted a video a few days ago about a situation that I went through back in May. I have to be very careful with what I say. At the advice of my attorney, I am no longer allowed to have that video up. I had to private it, and I can no longer speak on the situation or the surrounding situations, which sucks, obviously, if you didn't see my comments in that video. I just feel like I'm backed into a corner, but I respect my attorney a lot, and I'm taking her advice. Anyways, I just wanted to pop on here and be fully transparent about it, why it's gone, and also to say thank you to literally every single person that commented on either one of those videos, both of them, any of my videos, liked any of my videos, left me a sweet message. I wish I could reply to all the messages because they are so kind. I've gotten flooded with such kind messages and comments, and just people showing so much love and support to a stranger on the internet. I mean, I also would do that because this situation sucks. It's very isolating and lonely. Well, I'm going to see the other side. I know that. I've gone a year with keeping my head down. I can do it. I just wanted to come on here and say thank you to literally every single person. I'm going to keep posting. I just can't keep posting specifically about that incident or what's going on currently. I'm just really happy to have this new little community, and I hope to keep growing it. Sucks that it's under these circumstances because I wish there was better people in this world, and I wish people did not have to experience this kind of crap. Builds character, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, thank you again, and I'll see you next time.
Now, a lot of women are trading their marriages for a social media community. That's the trend right now. And conveniently, her attorney tells her to delete all the videos related to her marriage so the man can't use them in his defense. In plain terms, she's going after the money. Let me be clear, she's in a strong position. The guy cheated, she has 3 children with him, so you already know she'll most likely walk away with half of everything, and the man will end up seeing his kids less. That's why her attorney advised her not to give the defense any advantage.
Divorce is a 3-year healing process. Let's see where you're at. The first year is called a turbulent period, and this is the most difficult. This is when you go through grief, sadness, and anger, and a sense of loss, a sense of mourning. The second year is called the formative period, and this is when you start to settle and build a new life. You become more focused on self-reflection and growth. The third year is called the triumphant period, and this is when you have a sense of stability and a sense of purpose. My point of this video is to show you that human emotions are natural. The healing process is a natural process. And I think a lot of times we introduce people into our lives when we're not ready. You know, they say by the second year is when you really start to self-reflect. Now, can you imagine somebody 6 months out of a hurtful and painful marriage and divorce that is introducing somebody into their life and they haven't went through the process of even self-reflection? Oftentimes what happens is somebody will repeat the same pattern with person after person after person because they haven't taken time off to self-reflect or haven't taken time off to heal or haven't taken time off to develop a deeper and more personal relationship with God. When you're not completely healed, the person that you're introducing into your life will replace God. They will become your stability. They will become your healer. They will become what you call your anchor. If you've divorced in the last few years or even widowed in the last few years, be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, are you really ready to introduce a new person or to get out and start dating? Are you truly healed? Have you built that relationship with God? When you're pursuing a new person in a new relationship, why is it so important to learn how to love yourself? Because you can't give what you don't have.
Absolutely. One of the biggest mistakes many men make is leaving a divorce and, just a few months later, jumping into another relationship. Sometimes it's better to take a hard look at your life. See where you stand, assess your situation, explore your options, and choose your next move carefully. Something I always recommend is writing your problems down and getting your life organized. When you take the time to put on paper what's weighing on you and outline possible solutions, you start to realize you might not be as bad off as you think. Another reality is that divorce can hit a man hard, emotionally and financially. You have to make major changes, like walking away from your home. The toughest part is that you'll likely have less money and be older when you're starting over. But you can rebuild. And the sooner you get comfortable in your own skin again, the sooner your life will improve. You can come out of this better and stronger than before.
I look literally insane because I've been crying for like 20 minutes. I haven't slept in like 24 hours. I've just mentally not been feeling well. I just have a lot on my plate and a lot going on. So a video today, just talking a little bit about me and what I went through as a child and how I really wanted to be able to surprise my boys with their dream room, because they always ask me like, when are we gonna decorate my room and stuff like that. And as a single mom, you kind of have to make priorities. So bills and food come before decorating and furnishing your home, and also lawyer bills and stuff like that when you're going through a divorce. So someone suggested I make an Amazon wish list. I'm gonna start crying again, and literally all I do on my TikTok is cry, but these are happy tears. I made an Amazon wish list a few hours ago, and it's pretty much everything is pretty much bought. Their bedding and their curtains and stuff, and I like, there's truly no words. Like, I know it's hard out here and we're all kind of struggling, so for whoever to purchase one of those things to use their hard-earned money on a stranger, like, I hope someday, and no, I know someday I'm gonna be in a position to do that for somebody, and I am so grateful. It's really hard being a single mom. You feel really prideful and you don't really want to accept help. And yeah, I'm just so thankful. So if you bought something, I have no words. I'm so grateful. And even if you just interacted with my video or followed me. So yeah, thank you so much.
Hey, bro. What? Oh my God!
See why I don't put much faith in social media? All this drama has turned into a business. There are hundreds of people doing the same thing right now. They post a divorce story, shed a few tears on camera, and suddenly everyone feels obligated to help because she's the victim. It reminds me of that woman who used to cry while cooking on camera and shared a donation link, saying she was a single mom. Later on, her ex-husband posted a video claiming it was all a lie, that she had abandoned her children, that she was the one who left, that there was even a restraining order against her, and that she was using the story just to collect money. She responded afterward, and it turned into a full-blown public mess. There are many cases like that nowadays. One thing I noticed on her profile is that I never saw her doing anything related to her kids. Strange, but I'll just leave that there.
Lonely is lonely. I 100% disagree with you. It's not about your perspective. I don't wake up every day and go, oh, I'm so lonely. I hate my life. Fuck no. I'm grateful every day. I live a magnificent life. I have amazing friends, family, 4 incredible children, a dog, and a new puppy. So my life is so full. But in the quiet moments, I don't care what anyone says, in the quietest moments, when you would love to reach over at night and have someone wrap you in your arms, I just don't buy that that wouldn't be magical. I just don't buy that that wouldn't make you feel safe, loved, and secure. I just don't buy it. So it's not a matter of perspective. It's a matter of honesty. And I'm just being raw and honest in saying that, yes, I am great, fine, awesome. And so are so many other women. It's still lonely. Still lonely.
Oh my God!
Still lonely. 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 Still lonely
When you're an adult and your kids are grown, you realize the house is getting empty and your partner becomes your refuge. My father always used to say, "The one I have to take care of is my wife, because when you all leave, she's the one who'll still be with me." And that's exactly what happened. We all left, and she was the one who stayed. So this woman isn't lying. She's telling the truth. But in today's world, the truth bothers people. They want to hear the lie that makes them feel good. Because if you're sleeping alone every night, even if you spend all day around friends and family, you're still alone. That's not the same as having a partner. At the end of the day, everyone goes home to be with their family. The only one waiting for you might be a cat.
Women.
I'm just going to say the quiet part out loud and say that I fear that I may never find the love I desire. I really just don't know if it's in the cards for me. And I'm not saying this because I want anyone to feel bad for me, but I'm saying the part that I think so many single women think and are afraid to say out loud, but I'll say it. And trust me, I would rather be single than with the wrong person. And I stand by that 100% of the time. But I'm in my 30s and I get it. That's young. Like, I understand. But it's hard not to give up on that idea that what I want is never coming. And it's just not going to happen for me. And that I will spend the rest of my life as the fun single auntie in my friends' kids' life, my family's kids' life. I will always be the one to go to the wedding alone or the birthday party alone, the big life events by myself. And I can handle that. I've done that for years. I don't mind. But I worry that what I want isn't meant to happen for me. And I hope if you feel that way, you feel less alone by hearing me say that or someone on the internet. I'm just a stranger to you, but I feel that way and I think it and I worry about it.
Then go ahead and get a cat. Because at the end of the day, no man can compete with the imaginary ideal man you've created in your head. Do you know why people used to be in relationships more often? Because expectations weren't so high. Today, many women want a Superman. First, he has to be successful. He has to be tall. He has to be a provider. He needs financial stability, an apartment, or a house. He has to be fit. He must be a good conversationalist. He has to treat her like a princess. He needs emotional intelligence. In short, the complete package. And for what? To date a broken woman who doesn't perform acts of service and has average looks. If she were a 10 out of 10, at least there would be something extraordinary to justify the effort. But no, all of that is considered the bare minimum for a woman who's emotionally and financially bankrupt. Oh my God.
Know how dating is going for anyone else out here in this world, but for me, it's so exhausting, okay? You either get men who are very rich or got good money, but they're so into themselves. I actually had someone, I asked them 3 words to describe your personality in the positive way. He said, winner, successful, and rich. I said, describe your personality. And then you get the guys who are working on themselves or say they are healed, but then every time you get a chance, they are reminding you of how unhealed they are and can't even hold a conversation or emotionally intelligent is non-existent.
Gotcha, bitch!
These women live in a fantasy world. A man who's overly sensitive or too emotional rarely becomes the kind of man who goes far in life. Do you know why that guy tells you he's successful? Because he's not out there displaying his feelings to the world. As a man, you have to stand firm, keep a clear mind, and be strong in the face of adversity. In a man's real life, emotions can't be in control. These women demand everything from you. Then they tell you that you lack emotional intelligence, but at the same time, they want you to provide for them and be strong on their behalf. They live in a fantasy world and think a man's life is the same as theirs. It's like I once heard a single mother say she finally understood what it means to be a man when, at home, her son didn't ask how she was doing. He asked what bills needed to be paid. That's when you understand what it's like to be a man.
Women.
5.
5 different reasons that you should date a woman over 50. Fellas, this is for you. Number 1, she know who she is. See, there's no guessing games. A woman over 50, she has clarity, confidence, and zero time for drama. Number 2, she's emotionally mature. See, she's not into chaos. She's into peace, passion, and purpose. See, number 3, she brings life experiences and wisdom. See, she's lived, she's learned, and she's leveled up. Conversations with her are deep, real, and unforgettable. Number 4, yeah, you guys are not going to like number 4, but she's independent and not needy. And I know that there are some women out there needy, but I also know that many men out there want a woman who's needy. But a woman over 50, we're not needy. See, she can pay her own bills. She can book her own flight. She's looking for a partner, not a project. Number 5, she's in her prime, mentally, spiritually, and romantically. See, don't sleep on her glow up, her confidence, her style, and her sensuality. All 3, she has on lockup. See, real grown women energy just hits differently. You should check it out.
First of all, men aren't out here looking for older women. At 50, you want to make demands as if you were still in your 20s. I'm not saying you should accept just anything, but you're not in the same position to demand the same things. First, you don't have the same body anymore. You don't have the same energy. You may have medical issues. If you've seen medical bills in this country, nobody wants to take on someone who could become an added burden. On top of that, the kind of men you're asking for can easily date a 35 or 40-year-old woman. And since men tend to live shorter lives, when a man reaches 55, accomplished and with some savings to enjoy his life, is he really going to look for an older woman? When he could easily travel to a country where his money goes twice as far and find a younger woman. It's not sexism, it's reality.
Are you single? I have a question for the single girls out here. If you're taking, you could also stay because I feel like maybe you have some input in this. But girl, is it just me or like is dating like not really a desirable thing nowadays? Like I've been single for almost 2 years now. I don't really get excited to go on dates. Not only do I not get excited, I'm like not looking forward to meeting somebody to go on a date with. Not only that, I'm just not excited in general to like look for someone to date. Like I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't seem like a very desirable thing to do nowadays because I feel like people don't take dating seriously. They just want to like talk for a few days on text and then like meet up and then like hang out and then that's it. You're done. You start all over again because they don't want to catch feelings or they're too afraid to show their emotions, or they'll be like, oh well, she's not texting me, so I'm not gonna text her. Like people are afraid to show interest for some reason. I feel like it's because everybody thinks they have so many options because of social media when in reality they don't. And to me personally, I would never join like a dating app. But what about you? Like, are you on dating apps? Do you think dating apps work? I feel like dating apps are freaking scary. It's kind of silly to say, to be like, oh my god, I don't want to go on a date with a stranger. But even if I were to meet somebody out in the open freaking outside world, they would still be a stranger. But I feel like in a dating app, it's a lot scarier. I don't know if that makes sense. Last year, I was only on one date. Didn't really work out. It was like a first and last date. Like I felt like there wasn't really that much chemistry. And when he tried to follow up for a second date, I feel like he wasn't really putting that much effort. And it was like really wishy-washy, which kind of like made me like not want to go on a second date, to be honest. And this year I went on like 3 dates with somebody too. And again, it just was not a match because he was so freaking machista and he was very like, he was such a lustful man, girl, that gives me the immediate ick. That's another thing that I cannot take with dating nowadays.
Then stay alone with your cat, because apparently you won't find your perfect man out there. If every man you meet has a problem and none of them qualify, then maybe you're the one with the problem. It's not that men don't try. It's that they can't compete with the idealized man she has in her head. You'll never beat that guy. That's why dating apps have ruined dating for everyone. The idea that you can always find something better is ruining women.
I feel like people are so freaking lustful, and it's literally, to me, it's such a ick and such a turn off. When I cut it, I was like, you know what, this isn't gonna work out. And I was honest. I was like, you know what, you're just a really lustful person, and personally, that's not what I'm looking for, and it's like a really big turn off. So I don't think this is gonna work. This mother trucker had the audacity to look me dead in the eyes and say that I should be glad that he wants to jump my bones 24/7, and that I should be glad that he always wants to, you know. And I was just like, I was literally like at a loss for words. Anybody in this world can look at me and be lustful, and I'm honestly sick and tired of it. I don't want that. That is not what I want. I also just feel like I don't see the effort when people keep asking me on dates. Like, they ask, but I don't see them planning, and I don't see the effort. I don't see no type of freaking effort, and it just, again, it's something that is not desirable. It's not something that I'm looking forward to be like, oh, I want to go on a date. And it's kind of sad, you know, because I do want to have somebody eventually, and I know eventually it's gonna happen. But at the same time, I've like come to terms with the fact that I may end up alone, and that's like, okay. The only time that it sucks is when like I'm having like a sad moment or something, and I'm laying in bed and I really want to be like held by somebody, and then I'm like, you know what, maybe I should date. But then it's like, I don't know. And if you're in a relationship, are you happy to be in a relationship, or are you in the relationship just because la pinche costumbre, girl? I feel like the dating world has gone to shit, honestly. Let me know your thoughts. Let's discuss, girl.
I'll just say this. Don't let the train pass you by, because later it'll be too late. That guy who said he wanted to be with you 24/7 won't look so bad then. The woman who's searching for the perfect man ends up facing the wall, because the wall doesn't forgive. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Is that 50-year-old woman right when she says she feels lonely? Are women unwilling to admit that there's a female loneliness epidemic happening? If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Your support means a lot to us and motivates us to keep creating more content. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Wall.